On the campus of the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill.
Well, we don't have to tell you here. I'm Jim Thacker back with Jeff Mullins. The news has hit Chapel Hill like a bombshell. And Jeff, all they're screaming is, we're number one.
That's right. They think they got the number one position, not only in the conference, but perhaps in the country.
All right, but North Carolina still must face Duke. What a day we've had here in the ACC. 2 surprises already. What do you think, Jeff? Maybe another one possible.
Well, today's been such an unbelievable day. I wouldn't put anything past anybody at this point, but certainly North Carolina got a big lift with the announcement a few minutes ago.
All right, North Carolina needs to win here to tie for Virginia for number 1 in the ACC. We'll have our scouting report coming right up after this word from your sponsor. News of Virginia's loss. But, Jeff, 2 great seniors, 1 for each team, winding up their careers here today in the regular season.
Well, they're both guards. Vince Taylor at Duke has had an outstanding career, and particularly senior year. And, of course, Jimmy Black, the renowned backcourt leader for this UNC team for 4 years. He is a great player also.
Jeff, we'll see how these teams respond here. North Carolina now needs to defeat Duke to tie Virginia for number 1. And we'll have the game lineup for this last game of the regular season in ACC coming up after these messages.
When your coach from Manhasset...
We'll be back now for the start of this final game in our triple header after this message. 3-guard affair with Taylor moving to forward, Emerson England backcourt. Anderson, who's played well in the last couple of games, and Tissot on the front line. For North Carolina, they're going to start their seniors. Chris Truss will be at center. Jed Barlow will start in backcourt with Jimmy Black. They're all 3 seniors. Final home game here at Chapel Hill. Doherty and Worthy also on the front line. Perkins not starting. Joe Forty, Jim Knight, and Jerry Donahue are the officials for this game. The last of our triple header, and what excitement we've had so far. Wake Forest came from behind to defeat NC State. The stunner of the year so far, Maryland over Virginia, the nation's number 1 team. You just saw the final of that one in overtime. What excitement there. And who knows what will happen when these 2 get together, Duke and North Carolina. Over the years, they've had tremendous surprise games. North Carolina 23-2 under Dean Smith. A chance perhaps to be number 1 in the country if they win this game. And now Jimmy Black will bring it in. Duke drops back into a zone defense and runs away on Chapel Hill. Well, it's 2 down and 1 to go. Jeff Mullins has just come up from down on the court side. And Duke faces the momentous task here of taking on the number 2 team in the country.
Well, I'm sure they knew they had their jobs cut out for them, but with this announcement of the Virginia score, I'm sure Carolina's just that much more fired up.
Jimmy Black from the outside. Rebound is taken by Tom Emma. Oh, Duke will get a chance to draw first blood. Blue Devils have won 10 and lost 15. And by the way, they have the nation's longest streak of winning at least 10 games a year. I'll tell you about that later. Well, in the first minute here from Chapel Hill, no score, Duke and North Carolina. North Carolina right now would have to feel like it could go number 1 with a victory following the Virginia upset at Maryland. Backdoor, Jimmy Black inbounds, but it's intercepted by England. Here goes Chip England in the air firing. Rebound, Anderson keeps it alive, and it's grabbed by Bryce. We'll set these lineups for you. We'll apologize because of the late start of not seeing each player introduced. This is Matt Doherty. He's starting it for Jimmy Black, and that's Jed Barlow, a senior, getting a start in his final game for North Carolina, as did Chris Truss. Our last salute here for the senior, James Worthy, the other forward. Duke's a tight zone.
Duke starting out defensively in a 1-2-2.
Play. Jeff, it's tremendous to see 10,000 people sit in the dark auditorium for over an hour.
I don't see an empty seat, and the great thing is that none of us missed anything. We're going to get to see all the action. They're picking up right where we left off before the power shortage.
Ours are almost to here goes Vince Taylor breaking on the inside. Ball is kept alive for North Carolina. Bounced out by Doherty. Right off the leg of Tom Emma. So quickly, North Carolina's in the white. The news that Virginia was upset by Maryland has really rocked this auditorium over an hour ago. North figures maybe that caused the power to go off. But in any event, if that's the case, then so be it. The Tar Heel faithful believe their team now can become #1 in the country. They were #2 going into polls this week. Here's James Worthy, the great All-American power forward for North Carolina. He has started the game. Chris Buster center. He's a senior. Breaks on the inside, and he's fouled on the play. Let's see. I think it's going to be Vince Taylor.
We might note, Jim, that both teams started with the same starting lineups. Carolina starting with their 3 seniors in the lineup. Brust will go to the line. Here's the shot. Good position. Contact was made on the shot, though, and Brust will get 2 free throws.
Brust, 6'9" senior. Remember, he started when Sam Perkins was ill in a very key game this year. That's the first point of the ball game, by the way. North Carolina, 1 point. Now, this is probably the longest the North Carolina team has ever gone to score a point. 1 hour and 20 minutes. 2-0. Brust sends North Carolina out of the lead. Full court pressure, forcing the tempo. They're expecting a spread delay game from Duke. Good pass by Taylor. Broken up by Doherty. North Carolina using his quickness to force the issue. Jed Barlow. Bounce past the baseline. Here comes Worthy, left-hand hook. Rebound by Doherty on the inside. Taken away by Duke and stolen by Duke. Well, the Tar Heels are really pushing the issue here. Worthy inside.
James Worthy catching the ball where he is so tough. About 12 feet from the basket in the painted area. Very difficult to stop him there.
And Jeff, I'm told everybody stay with us. Cable across the nation, all our stations, and we'll just remind the stations, the next commercial break will be break number 4, which will be normal. We're in the first 4 minutes of this ball game right now. It's 4-0 in favor of North Carolina. So our sincerest thanks for being faithful to stay with us for this afternoon of ACC basketball. We have seen 2 great games so far. Now this one just cooking here in Chapel Hill.
In the first minute of action before the power outage, it was obvious that Duke was going to pull the ball out and go into their spread offense. They have not changed that game plan. It may have helped Carolina in planning in the locker room to know that was the way they were going to play, and they're coming out and attacking in a man-to-man pressure defense.
There's the jump ball. It'll be Duke's ball, but they have used up that possession of the jump ball situation. Chris Brust sets down now. Let's see, in the ball game is Sam Perkins, also in Michael Jordan. So the 2 seniors who got the honor of starting here, Chris Brust and Jed Barlow, are sitting down. The regular lineup then for North Carolina. That means Worthy, Jordan, Perkins, Doherty, Black. The team's been #2 in the country, and now fully expects to have a chance to go #1. Virginia having lost to Maryland. Earlier today in the opening game of our triple-header, Wake Forest came from behind to beat North Carolina State by 4. Right here, it's 4-0 North Carolina. That catches you up. Emma under to England, couldn't hold it.
Good pressure man-to-man defense by Carolina thus far. They're putting a lot of pressure on the ball, forcing the Duke players to the baseline.
A little over 4 minutes in this game, and only 4 points scored all of the Tar Heels. And with the score, North Carolina 4, Duke nothing. Let's pause for these messages. Game are granted by the Atlantic Coast Conference to Metro Communications Incorporated. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without written consent is prohibited. Announcers of this telecast have been hired and paid by Metro Communications Incorporated in consultation with the Atlantic Coast Conference. North Carolina needing a victory here to tie Virginia for first place, the ACC standing. Jimmy Black on the outside. North Carolina's got the first 6 points of the game. 6-0 with 4.5 minutes gone by. North Carolina won the first game, but Duke on that occasion played in a very close contest, especially for about the first 3/4 of the game, 3/4 of the game. Over and back, Tommy Emma, 10-second line violation. North Carolina's pressure defense has just been ferocious.
They've been overplaying the passing lanes and making it very difficult for the Duke players to pass cross-court, and we saw what will happen when you play good defense like that.
Aside from the national picture, of course, a victory here by North Carolina would tie them for Virginia for the top seed in the ACC tournament. In that case, it would be a flip of a coin tomorrow to decide who is #1 and who is #2. In any event, they'll be in opposite brackets. Outside, Doherty. And North Carolina leads 8-0. 15 minutes to go in the first half. In case you're joining us late, we had a power failure in Chapel Hill for over an hour. Inside, Vince Taylor puts up a shot, tipped in, comes out, almost in by Wint. Rebound by Sam Perkins. McNeely now the lineup for Duke. Tissot's playing in the middle. Taylor in the back line. Inside goes Worthy. Boy, North Carolina has come out fired up on the news of the Virginia defeat. And they've really rocked Duke here in the first 5.5 minutes. 10-0.
Doing a great job on the offensive and defensive end, putting a lot of pressure on the defensive end, and also doing a great job offensively. Chip England sneaks in behind the defense for an easy layup.
As you know, Jeff, that'll happen sometimes if they're pressing all out. You're going to lose a man occasionally. And England, of course, an outstanding player, got 3. 10-2. 8-point lead for North Carolina. 6 minutes gone. Perkins in the air. Batted out, but foul by England. First foul by Chip England. Duke's second team foul. Duke is 10-15, and those 10 victories represent the 54th consecutive year for Duke to win at least 10 games in the season, and that's the longest such winning streak in the United States. Mike Krzyzewski, just his second year as head coach, played under Bobby Knight Army. Inside play by Perkins.
Duke made a little turnaround about mid-year, and they went to that 2-3 zone offense, Jim. But Carolina's fighting it real well. They're attacking it inside, and when they take the outside shot, they're hitting that too, making it very difficult to stay with a zone defense.
Tissot goes cross court to McNeely. Doug McNeely, the only player recruited last year by Krzyzewski. He came in late. 12-2 the score. 10-point lead for North Carolina. There's McNeely, number 11. He has come in since the start of the game. So is Perkins and Michael Jordan. There's the interception by Worthy. A senior started this game for North Carolina. There are 3 of them besides Jimmy Black, was Barlow and Brust. But now they're both on the bench, Barlow and Brust. Here's the triangle against the zone for North Carolina on the right. And that's going to be Jordan outside. Rebound down to McNeely, and he's almost tied up. And Duke's going to have it. That means that possession will go to North Carolina. Duke got the last jump ball situation out of bounds. This one will be taken over by Dean Smith. And what a string of victories of 20 victory seasons he's had. What is it, 12 now?
He's just had a great career here at North Carolina, and renowned as one of the finest coaches in the country.
12-2, and he has a team right now to put his team number 1. Oh, lob to Worthy. A perfect pass to Worthy, and it's 14-2. North Carolina by 12.
North Carolina has executed their offense to perfection the first 8 minutes of this first half.
Give and go, Vince Taylor breaks inside, blocked by Worthy, lost out by North Carolina. Vince Taylor's been shut out so far by North Carolina's pressure defenses.
Vince got a lane to the basket. James Worthy, 6'9", though, gets all ball, knocks the ball back. Duke's fortunate to get it back.
This is the 120th consecutive game for Vince Taylor, which was an all-time record in Duke. Not for games played, but for consecutive games. England bounces inside, takes a return. England and Emma, very clever backcourt for Duke. And Taylor gives them a 3-guard lineup. It is not a big lineup, but one that Krzyzewski feels is good in ball handling and has his best quickness for a combination of quickness. Under McNeely, Doug walks. That'll turn it over to North Carolina. Tar Heels with their biggest lead, 14-2, with 12 minutes to go in the first half.
James Worthy on the spot again. That caused that traveling violation. Coming over to help out. McNeely traveled when he saw him.
These teams have played 162 times. North Carolina getting close to 100 victories. They won 96. 14-2 Tar Heels. They have really been hitting them on court trip. Jimmy Black. Yep. 16-2. North Carolina rocking Duke here from the very opening gun.
It's a good example of why Jimmy Black may be one of the most underrated guards in the country. He settles the team down. Everybody gives him credit for ball handling, but he's also a very good pressure shooter, as he showed that time.
Black, of course, leading the Atlantic Coast Conference in assists on an average basis. That's how here comes Vince Taylor out the pressure, rolls away, still can't get it down. Rebound by Perkins. North Carolina over leading 16-2. Breaking yield, 11 minutes to go. Doherty from 20. 18-2, and Krzyzewski's going to have to stop the game for a timeout for Duke. We'll be back with more ACC basketball after these messages from your local station. Let's give you what happened up today. Our first game, Wake Forest trailed almost the entire game, came from behind the final 45 seconds and defeated North Carolina State 50-46. A three-point play by Jim Johnstone. Maryland shocked #1 ranked Virginia. Biggest upset in the country today. In overtime, Adrian Branch, a sensational game for Lefty Driesell. Vince Taylor on the inside, lobs it up, and draws the blocking foul from Worthy. You know, it may have been one of the most pleasing victories in his long coaching career for Lefty.
I understand, and I haven't seen the replay yet, but he was totally excited and very happy with his team's performance today. Certainly a big win.
It's been a remarkable coaching year for Lefty. He lost heavily last year through graduation. Then he lost Buck Williams at center. Now he's lost Charlie's other Pittman, his other center here in the regular season. They had a very inexperienced team, one that was almost without any offensive punch from last year. And to beat Virginia is just a remarkable performance, and we congratulate Lefty and his entire staff and the whole team of Maryland. 18-4, North Carolina over Duke. After 9 minutes here in Chapel Hill, we had a delay of over an hour because of a power failure. Zone defense by Duke, packed in. Doherty from the right, heading for both sides.
And Jim, here in Chapel Hill, we've seen almost perfection from the North Carolina team, both defensively and offensively. They obviously mentally prepared themselves during that power outage in the locker room, and they've come out ready to take charge.
And you know, the two biggest roars of the day, the first one came when it was announced that Maryland had taken Virginia to overtime. The next one came when Maryland won the game. Inside, Anderson, blocked by Worthy, and saved in bounds by Jordan on a remarkable play. Bouncing off Emma again.
And James Worthy in the right spot, again making a great defensive play. Michael Jordan hustling after it. Here's the replay. Anderson goes up. Worthy comes from the side, knocks the ball away, and Jordan makes a great save.
North Carolina back on the attack by virtue of that. Inside Sam Perkins. There's the first mistake of the North Carolina team, but it's still up a Duke player out of bounds. Anderson, Todd Anderson, a 6'9" freshman, went to the floor to recover it, went over the end line, so North Carolina will retain possession here. At the halfway mark about in the first half, 10-14 to go. Tar Heels up 20-4. Quite a turnaround for the first inning of these two. Inside goes Jordan, floating in there, and there's Perkins to the floor, scrambling and fighting and tying up, and there'll be a foul now reaching over by Perkins. Sam Perkins trying to tie up his opponent, guilty of his first foul. That's the second team foul against North Carolina. Remember, a victory by North Carolina here leaves them tied with Virginia, and since they split the regular season, will be a toss of the coin tomorrow for #1. Krzyzewski feeling he must get good play from his front line, and that, of course, has to include Vince Taylor, who starts it forward today. But I'm sure what he's talking about are young players like Went and Anderson, in addition to Tissot. He knows his guards will play pretty well if the front line gives them help. This is Went, young freshman from Detroit. Went in the air, left-hand shot. Whoa, he's lucky to get that one off, and he canned it. 20-6.
Gives you an example of the kind of shots that North Carolina's giving up early in their game. Their defense has just been superb.
Black takes a look inside. Worthy wants the ball, but Duke is really packed in there with his zone. Here comes Worthy, wheeling to the right hand. 8 points for James Worthy. Boy, more and more. He's a player who looks like he can just take over the game by himself.
I don't think there's any question. You know, Ralph Sampson's presence in the ACC certainly has outshone James Worthy, but I'll tell you, if he isn't an All-American, Jim, I have not seen one. He's a great, great basketball player.
No question. Greg Went went over the back to get that rebound, commits his first personal foul, the third against the Duke team. And with 9 minutes to go, Mike Tissot will return for Duke. Tissot, who is a junior from Fairfax, Virginia, played in his high school senior year in the same state with Ralph Sampson. So he can go back a little further for Big Ralph than some of the ACC players. But Sampson's team was upended today. Their winning streak stopped. And, you know, Maryland gave them quite a thrashing last year in the ACC tournament. So it's a week earlier this time for Lefty, although it was a thrilling game in overtime. Won it by buzzer by Adrian Branch. 22-26. And we mean buzzer, of course, we mean in the overtime. Buzz Peterson has come in guard for North Carolina. 9 minutes, 35 seconds to go. Doherty's had a hot hand. There goes Worthy, the right hand, foul on the play. Basket is going to be good.
Wouldn't what makes James Worthy so good is that when he gets the ball, he just doesn't turn and shoot. He feels where the defensive man is, makes the right spin, and of course gets such a good look at the basket as we saw that time.
I think it was Greg Wendt that committed the foul. Worthy already with 10 points in this game, and we played just a little over 10 minutes. Going for a three-point play. He's scoring about a point a minute if he hits this shot. 11 points, and that's after 10 minutes and 26 seconds. A little over a point a minute. 25-6. That's the biggest lead by North Carolina. 19 points. They're leaving little doubt here about any chances of an upset here in this one. After what happened earlier today in the ACC, Wake Forest winning after many years drought, and Reynolds Coliseum in Raleigh broke that streak. And then, of course, Maryland's climactic, dramatic victory over Virginia. 25-6. Duke wants to spread it out, but they're not in position to do that. They're trailing on 19 points. North Carolina in the 2-1-2 zone with big, long arm Sam Perkins in the middle. North Carolina, of course, will change defenses. They've got good quickness on this team. Jimmy Black in particular. Has a shot from the outside. Wynn trying to get it for Duke, and it's pulled out by Vince Taylor for a layup, and he's fouled. Vince the Prince could have a three-pointer coming. He has already made over 100 free throws this year. Great season.
The shot goes up. Tissaw kept the ball alive. He and Perkins fighting for it. Vince finally picked it up. Little contact made on the way up. He goes up strong and lays it in.
Chances of Taylor ever reaching Mike Jaminski's record of most games played would be remote right now. He needs this game and 4 more. So that means Duke will have to be an outstanding tournament, and perhaps win the ACC tournament for him to have a chance to do that. But he's broken the string for most consecutive games played. 25-8. Worthy short. Rebound off. Third time today. North Carolina has gone out of bounds to bank a loose ball off of an opposing player to keep possession. And so it'll be the Tar Heels ball when we come back here with 7:20 to go in the first half. And the score, North Carolina 25, Duke 8. Let's pause for these messages.
The 1980 Winter Olympics. Hockey team captain Mike Ruzioni helped clinch the gold for the U.S.
I'm Mike Ruzioni, the artist. Budweiser asked me to paint with these to help raise funds for America's Olympic athletes. Now you can own my painting and help our athletes train for 84. After all, there are a lot of Picassos. There's only one, Ruzioni.
Call 1-800-325-1488 for more information.
Converse carries on the tradition. A tradition in basketball shoes, running from street corner sports to national championships. Natural rubber outsole for superior traction. Cushioned insole and protective toe guard for durability. Converse for men. Converse for boys. Converse from Belk.
At the conclusion of this game, McDonald's will present a plaque to the outstanding player from each team as selected by the announcers. In addition, McDonald's is pleased to make a contribution of $1,500 to the member institutions on an approved plan of the Atlantic Coast Conference. Well, this game took on an added dimension when Virginia was upset by Maryland and giving North Carolina not only a chance to tie for first place in the regular season ACC for the Tournament of Pairings, but also perhaps go back on top of national polls. Matt Doherty, who, like Worthy, has had a hot hand from the very outset of this game, just increased the lead to 21. No, back to 19. I'm sorry, 27-8. Less than 7 minutes to go in the first half. A fast-moving first period once they got it underway. Doug McNeely back in for Duke, number 11. He's in placing Tissaw. A young Duke team in the inside now with McNeely and Wendt in there, along with Taylor, who gives them almost a free guard. Chip England, perimeter shot, doesn't miss it too often, and North Carolina will take over here, leading 19 with 6.5 minutes remaining.
North Carolina has dropped their defense back into a zone defense, but they're still playing big. They're playing with a lot of arms, a lot of hands. They're just not putting as much pressure on now. Duke having a hard time getting a good shot against them.
There's a screen for Jimmy Black on the outside. It comes right back out to Tom Emma. Fast break pass to Vince Taylor. Taylor coming down on Buzz Peterson. Will take the quick pull-up. Rebound off by Warren Martin. There's the big 7-foot freshman getting in the play for North Carolina. Jimmy Black on the break. Inside to Worthy. Won't count. He walked. That basket's taken away by traveling. Worthy would have had 13 points in less than 14 minutes. But doesn't count. It's 6 minutes to go and 27-8 North Carolina, first half.
And the fans at home saw James Worthy give that little high sign to Jimmy Black saying, nice pass, I'm sorry. But it was a good play by Jimmy Black, pushing the ball up the floor and then making a nice pass.
Perkins is back in, replacing Martin. The regular starting 5 is in for North Carolina. Worthy, Jordan, Perkins, Doherty, and Black. There's Greg Wendt starting to play from backcourt. All broken up by Jordan. And it's lost out of bounds, and it's going to be North Carolina's ball. Touch pass by Duke player. Michael Jordan's quickness. One of the best freshmen in the country, without any doubt.
I don't think there's any question. He's a great athlete, and he has great basketball skills. Of course, he's playing with a very veteran team, and he's just learned the skills even better this year, Jim.
Danny Mahar and Jay Bryan, 2 freshmen for Mike Krzyzewski, come in for the Duke lineup. Mahar, a Canadian, 6'7". Bryan, 6'8", is from Lakewood, Colorado. 2 guys from Snow Country in play again. Here goes Michael Jordan out of the corner. Rebound, Jay Bryan for Duke. Now Emma wanting to run, looking down court, but there are 4 white-shirted defensive players waiting. 5.5 minutes to go in the first half. North Carolina's headed all its way so far. Tar Heels lead by 19 points. And a victory at Hayfield, at least convincing, would mean back to #1 in the country, where they were for a good part of the early season. And then Virginia took over the top spot for the month of February. And a little more. And they were upended today, and no doubt that's going to topple them off. Give and go to England. England driving with the right hand. Rebound back to England. Inside for Duke. Fires and banks it in. Nice play by Chip England, who just hung in there.
Good second effort by Chip. He drove to the basket, missed the first shot, stayed after it, was able to get in between 2 Carolina players and lay it up.
27-10, less than 5 minutes to go here in the first half. They moved right along after that long delay on the power failure. The entire end of Chapel Hill, that includes the campus, was without electric power for over an hour. Jimmy Black feeds on the inside. Sam Perkins, left hand hook, comes out. Rebound Emma. Now Duke will bring it back down floor, trailing by 17 points with 4:23 to go. Quite a difference from the first game in Durham.
Well, the first game in Durham, as the fans might remember, Duke was up by 1 at the halftime. Carolina kept the pressure on and finally moved ahead by a substantial margin. Here, they've gotten off to a big start. I think altered Duke's plan, because obviously they would have liked to hold it up, keep it as a low-scoring game. Now they've got to come out and play hard, try and get back in the game.
Good pump fake by Vince Taylor. Rebound comes out to Michael Jordan. Good lead pass to Jimmy Black. Black on the fast break. Nice fake and go for the layup.
Very seldom see Jimmy Black do a one-on-one move, but that time he caught Chip England on the wing. He made an excellent move to the basket and laid it in.
29-10, a powerful performance by North Carolina. Came into this game #2 in the country. And could be #1 coming out. 3:35 remaining. We're in the first half, and it's 29-10. Worthy will get a rest now as Russ comes back in replacing him. And we'll come back to action here with Duke in control and a 29-10 North Carolina lead. We'll be back with more ACC basketball after these messages.
You're here.
That's the final Saturday of the 1982 ACC season. Yep, that is the correct score. North Carolina 25. No, but it isn't. Duke's 10. 29-10 is the score. 19-point lead by the Tar Heels. And in halftime, we'll bring you up to date on all the other action today and how the pairings are shaping up for next week's ACC tournament. That'll determine the championship. That'll begin on Friday in Greensboro. Emma spots Taylor from the corner. Way down. Michael Jordan soaring together. Here comes Jordan. 3-on-2. Left side. Russ for the layup.
Excellent pass by Michael Jordan. First, a strong rebound. He took the dribble up the middle of the court. Made a great fast break.
The crowd is going wild. This almost equals the cheer of when Maryland upset Virginia. And that news rocked in here. And instantly this crowd went into a tremendous roar.
It was amazing how the news of that game went through this crowd, Jim. It was kind of like watching an avalanche. It started in one corner and went right around the gymnasium.
Personal foul was against Michael Jordan. 31-10. That was, of course, before we had our power failure, and it wasn't really announced on the public address system. I think everybody was just tuned in to local radio stations, and the word just spread out here like a flash. And they were watching, of course, on the Metro telecast.
I saw a lot of portable TVs in the crowd, and when that word went out, finally it just echoed through the gymnasium, just like an avalanche.
There goes Emma. And there's a foul on the play. That's going to be against Brust against, yep, that'll be on Brust. First one. Brust going to come out. James Worthy comes back in. Worthy just had a devastating performance so far. 11 points he scored. He had like his first 4 or 5 shots. 2 minutes and 47 seconds to go in the first half, and at halftime, we'll see how those ACC pairings are shaping up for next Friday. Right with the inside. We'll have a free throws coming up. We now pause for station identification. This is the Atlantic Coast Conference Basketball Metro Sports Television Network.
WRAL TV5 Raleigh.
Jay Bryan, the free throw line, and 2 shots to come to him. Some viewers may be just joining us, expecting to see regular programming, but this game was delayed for about an hour and 15 minutes because of a power failure. We're still in the first half, and we thank all the stations for staying with us for this big game in the ACC. Perkins on the outlet pass. North Carolina leads 31-10. And here goes Perkins.
Sam Perkins with about an 18-footer. Again, showing his versatility. He can score inside or outside.
23-point lead by North Carolina. Now they're smelling a national top ranking. Of course, that's a little consequence. The ACC tournament being so important. Bryan drives the inside, charges. Jay Bryan, nothing going right for Duke. Beautiful block set up by Pat Doherty. 2 minutes and 14 seconds.
Carolina.
You know, the NCAA seeds all 48 teams. The important seeding is the first 4 because those 4 are placed in 4 different regions. It had been accepted that Virginia would be seeded #1 in the country and thus would remain in the East. And North Carolina will be going to the West. But now that possibly could change. Inside, Brust forces up a shot, gets the foul on Bryant. What do you think, Jeff?
Well, I think it's still very much up for grabs. North Carolina, of course, trying to convince everybody today that they may be deserving of #1. Both teams will have 2 losses. DePaul right behind them just a little bit. But of course, the importance of playing in the East for an Atlantic Coast Conference team is vitally important because of their home crowd and perhaps a home court advantage.
First round, the Eastern Regional will be at Charlotte, North Carolina, and March 11th. It could be. That's when the first round games are played. I don't think a seeded team will play on the 11th, but we'll be playing on the 13th. 35-10. 25-point lead by North Carolina, the biggest lead. The Eastern Regional played in Raleigh. Bryan bricks on the inside for Duke. Jay Bryan with a nifty move for his 3rd point. 35-12. I think Bryan doesn't pick on any lightweights. He had his big game scoring against Virginia, and now he's made a couple of good plays here against North Carolina. Inside, Worthy spinning. Look at that play.
That's a move that only James Worthy can make. You know, the thing that amazes me, Jim, with him is he starts making the move before he actually catches the ball. That time he started rolling one way before he'd even gotten the ball in his hand.
Vince Taylor, who's very good with the ball. Duke trying to spread things a little bit here. Worthy steals. Here comes Worthy. Worthy will take it in. Basket good, and an undercut foul on Bryan.
And that'll bring this crowd on their feet. A great steal by Worthy. He couldn't quite handle the ball, as we'll see. He couldn't quite get a handle, but he still went up. Bryan tried to be there, still moving, though, and a great basketball play by James Worthy.
Listen to this crowd roar. Boy, they have been in some happy mood today. Starting with Maryland's shocking upset of Virginia. And now James Worthy turning them on again. 4th in the ACC. First in team scoring with 15.4, averaging 6.5 rebounds. He also has 66 assists. He is third there behind Jimmy Black and Matt Doherty on the North Carolina team. He's had one three-point play today, and he's going for another. 15 points already in the first half. 40-12. North Carolina racing to a 28-point lead and putting on full court pressure. 1 minute to go in the first half. Chip England coming, pulls up in the lane. Nice play by Chip England for Duke. 40-14. Less than a minute to go in the half.
All offensive and defensive plans that Duke might have had for this game have to be thrown out the window. You can see they brought their defense out, spread the floor a little bit. Here's a wide open break for Chip England.
Oh, nice fake by England.
Move.
Oh, he got rid of two defensive players. Chip England scores his 8th point. 40-16 with 35 seconds to go in the half.
Nice move by Chip England. Also a great deal of respect for Michael Jordan. He saw Jordan coming down the wing. He decided he didn't want to challenge him in the air. A very wise move.
And did you see the pass a moment ago by Worthy that got away from Russ? Zone defense by Duke, chasing and double teaming. North Carolina's got it spread out here, waiting for one shot to end the half.
As I started to mention, Duke did not want to have to spread their defense out. They don't want to give up baskets like that. That's what happens when they spread out. A great pass from James Worthy to Chris Buck.
42-16. Vince Taylor, 3 seconds to go in the half, draws the foul. Clock stops actually with 1 second to go. I think it was Jimmy Black who was guilty of committing the personal foul. And that's going to be his first. 42-16. Boy, Dean Smith has every reason to be smiling the way this team's working like a machine. 42-16 lead over Duke. Vince Taylor at the line for 2. He scored 4 points in the first half.
I think the sign of any great team is how they perform when it's needed. And of course, North Carolina is coming through today in fine style. They knew it was an important game, and they're being led by James Worthy, their leader on the basketball court. In the big games, I always felt like Worthy is the guy that they really go to, and he's the one that'll come through.
Here's Dor. Oh, he doesn't have time for that much. Auditorium in Chapel Hill. These fans, some of them been here for upward of 3 hours for this game that was delayed for over an hour because of a power failure short after 4 o'clock. And you ACC television fans across the country and throughout the ACC, thank you for your loyalty. You've been with us since noon today on our triple header. The winners, Wake Forest and Maryland up to now, and now North Carolina has Duke down by 25 points at the halftime, and just an easy basket. Looks like Anderson on the inside. Nope, he missed it, but follows, and again, and now it's inside, put up and inside by England. So Duke have got about 4 or 5 cracks at it there, and they get the first basket of the second half.
Chip England's the only Duke player that's able to get going offensively. Vince Taylor only 1 for 8 from the floor the first half, but he's drawn a lot of attention from all the Tar Heels every time he touches the ball.
You didn't see it, but Worthy threw that pass off balance and wound up in somebody's lap on the first row. 42-19. North Carolina in the lead. Sam Perkins to the right side. And the rebound tipped out for Duke to England. Blue Devils here in the first minute of the second half have the only point so far in the half, but they're so far behind they've got a big comeback staring them in the face. Against the North Carolina zone, Chip England penetrates inside, knocked down by Perkins, followed by Anderson. Todd Anderson scoring. Sometimes a team gets a lead like North Carolina had, it's hard to come back as fired up the second half.
Well, Duke is playing their man-to-man defense. They haven't played that in a long time. This is what they started the season with. Again, not a lot of pressure, and Carolina backdoor to Jordan. Great pass from Jimmy Black.
And a foul by Chip England. That'll be Jordan's first point of the game.
Jimmy Black head up looking, and there's Jordan going backdoor, putting it up with his left hand. England trailing.
Yeah, ordinarily you think that Jordan would have gone to the other side of the rim to protect the ball, but he was so confident to make it. He went ahead and drew the foul, and now gets a chance for a three-point play by shooting it with the left hand. 45-21. North Carolina's more than double the scoring again with a 24-point lead. They led by as much as 28 the first half. Duke on the break. That'll be Vince Taylor pulling up. And only the second basket for Taylor, who's coming off a sparkling performance against Clemson with 35 points in his last outing. 45-23. North Carolina. Perkins bringing the cross. Tries to throw it back outside. And it'll be North Carolina's ball. Batted back out by Duke. Well, these teams are playing the season finale for the 24th consecutive year, Jeff, and I guess it goes back to your playing days. You did the same thing.
This has been one of the great rivalries around the country, and they always end the game either at Duke or at Carolina in the season on It's a great tradition.
Interception by Mac Tissot for Duke. 19 minutes to go in the game, so we played 1 minute of the second half. North Carolina very much in command at 45-23. Here's a near steal by Jordan. Loose ball. Jordan's got it and gets it out of the pack to Perkins. North Carolina scrambling all over the floor. Jimmy Black with a solid screen from Perkins. Tipped up by Jordan, put up by Perkins, and a foul on the play.
Nice follow-up by Michael Jordan, coming out of nowhere to keep the ball alive, allowing Sam Perkins to get back in there.
Foul by Anderson. Could be a three-point play. Oh, look at this scrambling.
Great hustle by Jordan and Taylor. Here Jordan lets the ball loose. He sees his teammate. Here goes Perkins towards the basket. He pulls it up to Jimmy Black. Black sees an opening, takes a shot, and you'll see Jordan come out of nowhere, almost has it down, keeps it alive, though, for his teammate Sam Perkins.
Perkins going for a 7th point here on this three-point try. Well, that scramble looks like Richards head into the wall on the third turn, and Walter right behind him. 48-23. North Carolina is staying arm's length and more away from Duke here, making sure they don't let this one get away. A chance to get back perhaps in the national polls on top. But to set up what could be an important flip of the coin tomorrow for top seeding in the ACC tournament with Virginia. North Carolina win will leave these two national powers tie for first place. Tissot inside, gets away from him. Tar Heels lead 48-23. Jimmy Black penetrating. Loose ball lost out by Worthy. Worthy a little nonchalant there going for the loose ball.
And that was one of the few turnovers we've seen from this North Carolina team. They only had 4 the first half. That time Jimmy Black getting a little careless with the basketball.
17 minutes to go in the game. North Carolina leads by 25. Here goes Mahar driving the baseline. Mahar gets inside for his first basket. So 10th. He's had 9 starts so far, young Canadian. Never wasn't even introduced to ACC basketball until he matriculated to Duke from St. Catharines, Ontario, this year. James Worthy peering over Mac Tissot, looking for an outlet pass. Gotta hurry. We're gonna get a jump ball right here. Yep, North Carolina's ball. Worthy couldn't find an outlet, so either Duke doing a good job on man for man, or the Tar Heel players not moving well without the ball. North Carolina ranked 6th in the country and 1st in the ACC in field goal percentage, over 53%. And today they beat that substantially in the first half with 69% plus. Weak side, Jimmy Braddock. Jimmy Black from the perimeter for North Carolina. Tar Heels now can play with abandon with this big lead. 50-25, they lead with a doubling of the score and 16 minutes to go. Foul down court on Jimmy Black. Black, of course, playing his last game here at Carmichael Auditorium. That always seems to spur on these players in the series. Last year, of course, it was Eugene Banks. It just had an incredible performance as Duke upset North Carolina last year. And then, remember, 3 years ago here was Phil Ford's turn to cut loose. Maybe that was 4 years ago, and he pulled a big upset of Duke. That was the year they went to the Final Four, the final game, as a matter of fact. Now 50-27.
Chip England's the only one that can give any spark to the Duke offense as he did that last time.
Drive on the inside by Worthy. He continues his sensational play of the first half. That's 18 points for Worthy, who's averaging only 15.4 in the season. Again, the Tar Heels lead with 25. Go inside to Tissot. Under to Taylor at great position. Taylor came to the weak side. Boy, he's a smart ball player. 52-29. Vince Taylor, now with 9 points, has scored double figures for 28 consecutive games. And one more point, he'll have it today. Duke forced to go man for man against this double quick North Carolina team. Loud on the inside to Worthy. Just fired it right back and over to Doherty. It goes for Black. Emma now releases down court. Here comes Taylor on Jimmy Black. Taylor spins on the inside, and he's fouled in the play. There'll be no basket allowed. There's blocking. I haven't seen any signal for the basket. Blocking by Black.
There's a good challenge of the wits here. 2 very heady senior ball players. Jimmy Black playing good defense. Vince Taylor making the spin move, laying it in. Good play by both parties that time.
But I don't think they're going to allow the basket, are they? I have not seen a signal there. 3 fouls on Black. Well, we'll tell. Taylor's going the line. It's only the second team foul, and if he's going to go to the line, that means that he gets the basket, right?
The only way it could be.
Yep, so he gets the basket. So Vince Taylor gets the basket. He'll try for a three-point play. Duke's a long way from the 1-and-1. North Carolina's committed only 2 fouls. So Taylor got the basket, missed the free throw. Taylor inside gets a 4-point play. So Vince Taylor stays right with it. 13 points, 52-33. Now North Carolina fans. Dean Smith didn't realize they'd given the basket. Now he gets arguing about it, but that had to be the only decision, Jeff.
He just realized that just at that second that they had allowed the basket.
Michael Jordan returns the compliments for North Carolina, 54-33. Duke briefly pulled back within 17. We say back within 17 because they've been down as much as 28 in this game. 14 minutes, 27. Hammer, loud cross-court picked off by Doherty. Not a wise pass. Doherty down to Perkins. 14 minutes, 10 seconds to go. Jordan from the side. And Worthy takes it, and he is fouled on the play by Tissot. Number 2 on Tissot. Team foul number 3, second half on Duke. And with 14 minutes to go, Krzyzewski shuttling everybody in and out, trying to find something to get a little change in this game. It's gone all North Carolina. And right now, with a score North Carolina 54 and Duke 33. We'll have more ACC basketball after these messages from your local station. Won by Wake Forest at North Carolina State to take 3rd place in the final standings. And then an upset of major proportions at College Park, where Maryland stunned top-ranked Virginia in overtime, 47-46. And North Carolina, perhaps spurred a little bit more by that outcome, has really swept Duke off the floor thus far through the first 20 minutes of the first half, and now 6 minutes into the second half. It is 54-33. Duke back in the zone here on the inbound pass. North Carolina going with the regular lineup. A good deal of this second half. The tournament coming up next week. They have to stay sharp. Drop off to Doherty for an easy one.
Matt Doherty was 4 for 4 from the floor the first half. You know, he had a mild shooting drought about mid-season, Jim, about the time they lost to Wake Forest, but he's come on very strong since then. In fact, this whole Carolina team seems to have a lot of momentum going as they close out the regular season.
Well, they opened the year #1 in the country. They beat Kentucky in that very big December game. Stayed on top until they lost their first game of the year to Wake Forest. And they were subsequently beaten by Virginia. Wake side, it goes into Anderson, pinned up there on the goaltend by Perkins. So Anderson gets credit for that basket. Offensive interference by Sam Perkins. 56-35.
Speaking of Kentucky, we got a score kind of interesting to the fans that LSU had beaten Kentucky today.
Soundly.
Very soundly.
Well, that tournament's going to be an interesting one. The SEC. Kentucky suffered mightily when Sam Bowie couldn't play. Here's Perkins driving for North Carolina. The ball lost out by Taylor. So it'll still be Tar Heels ball with just under 13 minutes to go in this game. 56-35 Tar Heels. If they win the game to tie Virginia, they'll flip a coin tomorrow to determine the #1 seeding. That's because North Carolina and Virginia did split in the regular season. Had one won both games, that would have been the tiebreaker, as in the case of Duke and Clemson. And Maryland and Clemson. For Maryland and Duke, Maryland has already clinched the 5th spot regardless of whether Duke should come back and win. Jimmy Black on the outside. Wouldn't go. Rebound saved into Taylor. Taylor coming on Jimmy Black. Oh, he's a great one-on-one player. Vince Taylor warming up now in the second half. He scored 10 minutes here in the first 7.5 minutes. And now Taylor with 15. But Duke still way behind in this game. It's 56-37. Well, you could be watching the team that'll be #1 the next poll. James Worthy works inside. This is what should have been an easy one for him. 12 minutes to go, and it's 56-37. You love a rivalry like this, though, Jeff. No matter what the score is, the players never lose their intensity.
Well, both teams are playing hard. Both coaches are very much into this game. I've seen Mike Krzyzewski up off the bench saying, Let's go. Let's keep playing hard. There we saw a little contact inside.
That's Vince Taylor on the push-off. Let's see if we can pick it up. Watch 12.
Vince fighting for position. He kind of leaned into Jimmy Black. Official right on the spot. Very alertly called it.
11:50 remaining in the game. And with a score, North Carolina 56 and Duke 37. Let's pause for these messages. Carmichael Auditorium was almost darkness. They stayed till the lights came back on. Then a lusty cheer as the game finally got underway. It stopped after 1 minute and 36 seconds of the first period. And the power was off for over an hour. But the crowd was still here when they resumed play. And they've been here ever since. And so have we. And so have you fans all across the country. And we're delighted to have you with us on this triple-header afternoon of ACC basketball, winding down the regular season. North Carolina 56, Duke 37. That's big Sam Perkins falling away, hitting, and he's fouled. That'll be a foul on Greg Wynn. Perkins with his 9th point.
Sam Perkins can play like a 6-foot guard. That time he shot a little fall-away jump shot from about 15 feet. He was fouled on the way up, but you can see the concentration on his face. He stayed with the shot, and it went in.
What were you, Jeff, number 44?
Yes,
A lot of players like the numbers they had in high school, right?
Yes.
You know why Sam's 41?
I hadn't heard that one.
That's the length of his arms. That's a true story. Number 41, 41-inch length sleeve. 59-37, North Carolina, and they batted that ball out. Duke will put it back in
Speaking of
play.
numbers, Jim, I think you can trace number 44 back a long ways, but perhaps back to the Jerry West days.
Yep.
That's what got me started with it, I know, and players still seem to like that number.
Well, that's been a very popular number of young athletes. It seems to have a great romance, just the sight of it. 44. You think of those Colt 44s from Wild West days. Here goes Tom Emma out of the corner for Duke. 59-39. Did you wear it because of West?
Yeah.
You were a contemporary of West.
No, I was
Yep.
in high school. He was my hero. He was a college player at West Virginia when I was in high school. Started seeing him play, and that's when I got started.
I saw you play against Rod Thorne, the other guy. Here goes Jimmy Black out of the corner. Ball batted out of bounds, and a foul on the play by Worthy. Second one on Worthy. 59-39, North Carolina. Boy, we mentioned the game last year when Eugene Banks had such a great game. Remember 2 years ago when it was 7-0 at the half?
I sure do.
That was an unusual turn of events. In 1974, North Carolina won a game in overtime here. On this floor, they trailed by 8 points with 17 seconds to go. And a guy named Walter Davis went out of his skull, as they say, and won that game. A lot of colorful games between these two. I guess they'll remember this one as the power failure game. 59-39, North Carolina leading. We're midway in the second half now, and you've been with us for the long afternoon, but it's certainly been exciting basketball and interesting turn of events. 2-3 zone, North Carolina. This may slow down Duke a little bit more, looking for a shot. There goes Chip England from the perimeter. Rebound Worthy. What a game he's playing. We have 10 minutes to go in the game now. North Carolina leading by 20 points. Good shot for Jordan. 7 points for Jordan, all in the second half.
Michael Jordan has a feathery outside shot, a very soft touch. Sometimes fellas that can jump as well as he does, don't have a real good touch, but he certainly has it.
Vince Taylor, a little off in his shooting form perhaps today, and credit that to North Carolina just taking the game away from Duke in the very beginning. Perkins whipped it back out to Black. Oh, here comes Jordan inside, floating like a bee. Michael Jordan's turn now to take the spotlight. 9 points for Jordan, almost all in a row. And with 9:22 to go, it's another timeout. And with a score, North Carolina 63, Duke 39. Let's pause for these messages. And tuned in on all the other ACC basketball left for 1982, and that'll continue next week as Metro Sports brings you all of the ACC tournament. Friday, first-round action begins at 12 noon, 2 p.m., 7 and 9, and then Saturday semifinals tipping off at 1 o'clock. Sunday's championship at 1. So you'll see that ACC championship right here on the Metro Sports Television Network. Chip England scoring his 14th point. 9 minutes to go in the game, and 63-41 North Carolina. Backdoor Doherty. What a beautiful play, and he blew the layup. Rebounds down to Vince Taylor. Taylor off on the break. Oh, he's great one-on-one moves. Taylor inside, stripped by the ball by Jordan. They got a foul on Michael Jordan. He really looks like he disagrees with that play. Let's see.
Vince Taylor in an open floor move where he's at his best. Goes baseline. Jordan gets it from behind. Gets a little bit of hand and ball. Taylor will shoot 2 free throws.
To be honest with you, I think the foul was on Brust. Vince Taylor up, missed his last throw. He has now missed 4 out of 7, which is not like Vince Taylor. He had hit 106 free throws coming into this game. But he scored double figures, 29 in a row. 63-41. Duke, of course, now will be looking to get ready for Wake Forest again. That'll be their showing. They beat Wake Forest, didn't they? Regular season.
I don't believe they did.
Okay.
No, they beat Clemson twice.
Frost hitting coming across.
Chris Frost playing in his last home game, and I think he might have his career high or certainly his season high this season.
You're right. Wake Forest won both games on Duke. It was Maryland, I guess, they defeated. Oh, State. I guess it was NC State. That was the top division team. 65-41, North Carolina with 9 minutes to go. And here comes Tissot wheeling and dealing inside. McNeely soaring up to get the rebound. Draws the foul. I think they're going to put this one on Sam. Sam Perkins. That'll be Perkins' 3rd foul. Perkins are going to sit down now, and James Worthy returns. So Worthy will be on the front line with Brust and Doherty. Michael Jordan in backcourt with Jimmy Black. 14-point lead now by North Carolina, and Chip England trying to make it 12. Duke is trying to fight back in this game. They were down by 28 points and lead by 12. Worthy floating, and he's fouled on the play by Anderson. Oh, okay, 22 points. I'm losing my mathematical sense here, Jeff. 65-43, not 55. A 22-point lead by North Carolina. Worthy was just spectacular in the first half with 16 points.
As I watched
only 2.
James Worthy go on that great play then, the high lob pass on a fast break accelerating down the floor, I'm reminded of the play where he got hurt on the other end of the floor, and I happened to be doing the game that day. What a remarkable recovery he's made from a very serious injury.
That was against Maryland here in January 2 years ago. They lost the rest of that season. 67-43, 24-point lead with 7.5 minutes remaining. North Carolina's won 16 out of the last 22 games played against Duke. Vince Taylor drives inside. Chris Brust feeds her out to Jimmy Black, but a whistle stops play. There was a foul on Duke. Jeff, I remember the very first ACC game I ever worked, and Mike Krzyzewski, I guess, hadn't even gone to Army then. That was about 16, 17 years ago here on this floor. A great Duke team came in here. Berga, Vicendak, Jack Marin, Lewis, Bob Reedy. They were headed for the Final Four, and North Carolina spread it out and almost beat them at 21-20.
There have been some great games, and you've mentioned a few of them over this series.
67-43, 24-point lead. North Carolina on top. Danny Mahar short. Michael Jordan wheeling out there, rips it up to Doherty. Good defense by England. Here comes Jordan flying through, and he's blocked on the play by Duke. Foul is going to be...
Good pass by Matt Doherty here, back to his teammate who jumps. Jordan goes 3 or 4 or 5 feet in the air. If he weren't such a good jumper, he might not have charged that time, although they called it the other way.
Jordan will be trying for double figures. He scored all 9 points in the first half, didn't score in the first half. That foul was against Danny Mahar. Vince Taylor now getting a rest for Duke. Greg Wendt comes in replacing him. Jordan, who's just a year ago was a high school senior out of Wilmington, North Carolina. That's his 10th point today. He's averaged almost 14 points a game.
And we'll get a good look at one of the great follow-throughs on free throw. Good shooters follow through, reach up there just like they're going to grab the rim, and watch Michael Jordan. Full extension of the arm.
Just braces it out there, lets it roll right over his fingertips. 7 minutes remaining in the game. North Carolina 69, Duke 43. England. I mean long. Boy, he was way out to the sidelines on the free throw line extended. 18 points for Chip England. 69-45. I think I have to agree with you about England. He's been more of a force, really, than Vince Taylor has in this game for Duke.
And he, too, has had a fine year. A little bit overshadowed by the play of Vince Taylor for his Duke team, but he's had a fine season.
North Carolina, Emma now is going to try that spot. Doesn't work for him, but it's tipped in by Anderson. Todd Anderson's follow for his 6th point. 69-47. North Carolina just kind of trading baskets here with his commanding lead. Backdoor Perkins for a layup. What a pass that was from Worthy. Boy, Worthy out of the corner of his eye, and he hooked that ball halfway across the court to Perkins. 71-47. Inside play, knocked down, but Anderson's got it underneath. Batted down by Perkins. Great timing on the defensive block. Jimmy Block had a great touchback. Cole Worthy on a 360, and now Doherty's going to fire it in traffic and draw the foul. That's the second time I've seen Worthy try that. I haven't seen all their games. Maybe he's made the shot. He missed it the other time.
Here's a great block by Perkins, swatting the ball away, starting the Carolina fast break. I would have loved to have seen this basket go in. Here's a 360, complete turnaround. He just ran out of air. He was coming down a little too fast. Doherty stays after it, and he draws the foul.
I know Phil Ford can make that play. I think Isaiah Thomas could do it. Not many players could do that.
Not many players, particularly James Worthy's size, 6'9".
That's like coming down a tailspin and still trying to land the plane. Matt Doherty at the line for North Carolina. 2 shots, has 10 points, 11. Say another great finale between these two. When the score was tied, Duke was trying to win the game. Bobby Jones stole the inbounds pass and scored. Remember that one?
I remember seeing. I was in Washington, D.C. at the time, living on the West Coast, but another great finish.
That was 1973. Down floor, Barlow is able to force the ball, gets it out of bounds, and Duke will get it, or North Carolina will get it.
Good help from Barlow from behind. It looked like Taylor might have beaten Black that time, but Barlow came in to knock the ball away, eventually off the Duke player.
I think it was McNeely that reached through and pushed the ball over the end line. 72-47. Backdoor, Jimmy Black, layup, foul, McNeely. First one on Doug McNeely. Jimmy Black will go to the line. He was saluted extensively here when he was introduced today because he's the one senior on North Carolina's regular starting lineup. He'll be sorely missed last year, but look at that array coming back. Worthy, Jordan, Perkins, and Doherty. Black with 12 points. That's well over his average of 9 a game. 5:23 remaining. And now Doherty's going to sit down as Cecil Exum replaces Matt Doherty, number 44, a sophomore from East Meadow, New York. Doherty came off a brilliant freshman year and has played well. He had one slump middle of the season, got to be a little tentative, drew a mild criticism, and came out of that both guns blazing. Yep, he's played well ever since. 74-47. Dean Smith now is beginning to empty his bench here with over 5 minutes to go in the game, and this one apparently sewed up. Jay Brines, a bounce pass, blocked down and put up and in. And that pass, that shot was made by Greg Lynch.
The next substitution for Carolina should bring a big cheer from the crowd, because Jimmy Black will probably go to the bench for his last home game.
Here's Barlow fouled, and let's see if Black goes out of the game. If he does, he's going to get a thunderous applause. Yep, here comes Braddock. Out goes Jimmy Black. Listen. Bill Guthridge, Eddie Fogler, Dave Smith, and 10,000 strong. That's for Jimmy Black.
He's had a great career here in North Carolina. He had some pretty big shoes to fill when he came in right after Phil Ford left, but he's made a believer out of many, many fans.
Jed Barlow giving a little unusual great throw. Watch Barlow like a shot put with one hand.
Who's a great former pro player that used to shoot like that? Little trivia.
Yeah, I remember that.
He's now a coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. Don Nelson played for the Celtics.
That's right. Bryan has a reach over foul by Exum. And now it's Barlow. Barlow with a personal foul. 75-47. Nelson will have the steal, wouldn't he? But 1968 is another game that these two played on the last Saturday of the regular season, and a guy named Freddie Lynn, you remember Freddie? Freddie the Flake came in 3 overtimes and had a great performance as Duke upset North Carolina in that game. Well, they've had some memorable games. Vince Taylor from the perimeter. I'm just jostling here because Freddie's a good friend of mine, and
I believe he substituted.
Guy.
He substituted for Mike Lewis that day. Great Duke player, I believe.
Well, it was one of the great substitutes of all time. There's a charge now as Jay Bryan tried to make a play that just wasn't there. That's 4 fouls on Bryan. 4 minutes and 25 seconds to go in this one. North Carolina coasting along now with a 75-49 lead. Virginia was done in today by Lefty and the Maryland Terps. And North Carolina, to the last fan here, expects to be #1 in the next national poll. Well, Peterson under the Brust, and Brust had a chance for his big game. There goes Barlow. There's a whistle on the play. And this foul will be on North Carolina.
I think there may be 3 challengers for that #1 position in the country, Jim. Certainly Virginia still with only 2 losses.
DePaul.
North Carolina, and of course DePaul right behind those two, has had a great finish.
I don't know what Oregon State's done over the weekend, but they're having a great year. Kentucky was really soundly thrashed today by LSU. 75-49.
I saw Oregon State play last night. In fact, they played UCLA, and Dick Vitale, a very popular commentator, said that he thought Oregon State was definitely one of the top teams in the country.
Well, we'll all find out here in just a few weeks. Cecil Exum gets it alive for Barlow. North Carolina on the move with 4 minutes to go in the game. Buzz Peterson now moves inside to Barlow. Left-hand hook, tapped up by Brust. And here's Fitz Taylor, 3-on-2 in the middle, wheeling to Emma. Emma in for the layup, and he walks. Traveling by Emma, turns it to North Carolina. We got a timeout with 3:54 to go with a score. North Carolina 75, Duke 49. Let's pause for these messages. Roared off in the beginning here today and quickly went ahead by double figures the very outset of the game. They led 18-2, and they have not let up to any very great extent. Here's a steal by Duke. Greg Wendt has it. Now less than 4 minutes to go in the game. It's 75-49. Tom Emma from way outside for Duke hits his second basket of the game. 3.5 minutes remaining. 75-51. Here's a steal by Wendt. Gets it into England. England looking for his teammates. England now fires the left side for Anderson. And Exum can't hold the rebound, and it will go to Duke. Here comes Warren Martin in. You're probably going to hear from him in a year or two. Replacing Brust. At his career high in scoring today, 10 points, beat his previous high of 9 against Santa Clara this year. Long one by England from the outside, 20 points for Chip England. 75-53. England at least has had a great individual performance despite his team's pressure. 3 minutes to go in the game. Jimmy Braddock, started by England. Cecil Exum has the score. Let's see if they try to shake him loose. There goes Exum. Tipped up and in by Martin. Warren Martin gets his first basket. 77-53. Martin hasn't scored that much. Only 12 points all year. Vince Taylor. Final game of the regular season in a Duke uniform for Taylor. 17 points right now. 77-55 North Carolina. 2:20 remaining. Now they're just running this one out at the end. Down the middle. Exum missed the layup. Exum gets another chance, and he puts it in. 9 players now have scored for Dean Smith Tar Heels. North Carolina wrapping up its 24th victory in 26 games this year. And they'll tie Virginia for first place. Tom Emma for Duke drills one in. Now a minute 50 to go. 79-57.
Tommy Emma sprained his ankle about mid-season and really lost his shot for about 10 games. But he's bounced back strong these last couple, and maybe going into the tournament, that'll be a help for this Duke team.
There's Vince Taylor out racing Barlow, and Barlow finally fouls it. Boy, Taylor had to go right into a laughably young person down there. No injury. Now out go Martin, Barlow, and Jimmy Braddock. In come Linwood Robinson, a freshman. He's 6'1", from Mount Olive, North Carolina. John Brownlee, 6'10", freshman from Fort Worth, Texas. And Timo Makinen, a 6'11" sophomore from Lahti, Finland. Red-shirted here last year. Vince Taylor for Duke. Vince had a brilliant year in his senior season, playing on a subpar Duke team. Team that won 10 and is going to lose 16 the regular season. But Taylor looks like he's going to win the regular scoring championship of the ACC.
He's had a fine individual season this year.
There's over and back, but Taylor will get it for Duke. Here comes Taylor in for one more try. A scoop up for the score, and he's fouled. Taylor with 20 points has equaled Chip England's output for the Blue Devils with 1:27 remaining. A 19-point lead by North Carolina. Not much doubt about the outcome, but Vince Taylor trying to close out his regular season in style. Already is accepted to play in the Pizza Classic and the Aloha All-Star game in Hawaii. He's had a miserable afternoon of free throwing, however. He's missed 7 times out of 11. Now a minute and 20 seconds to go. 79-60 North Carolina. There's Makinen handling the ball for the first time. Now Exum from way outside. That's his second basket. 81-60 North Carolina. Long one by Taylor again. Rebound by Exum. Outlet pass to Peterson, and he's fouled by Chip England. North Carolina's scored 82 points against Kentucky. 96 against Furman was the regular season high, so this is the third time they've been over 80 this year. Peterson at the free throw line for the Tar Heels is looking for, he could become the 10th player to score in this game for North Carolina. They get the bonus. .58 seconds remaining in the game. 83-60. North Carolina's second highest scoring game. We now pause for station identification. This is the Atlantic Coast Conference Basketball Metro Sports Television Network.
You are watching WRAL TV5 Raleigh.
Final seconds here. Foul on the play by Chip England, and we're going to salute Chip because our McDonald's Outstanding Player Awards today go to Chip England of Duke. He was pretty steady throughout for the Blue Devils, even though they were being outplayed as a team. And for North Carolina, to James Worthy. He had one of those vintage-worthy performances, notably in the first half, 16 points, when the Tar Heels blew it wide open. So McDonald's will present a plaque to each of these players. In addition, they'll make a contribution of $1,500 to the member institutions under the plan approved by the Atlantic Coast Conference. So we want to remind all the stations we have a delayed start today. We'll be covering this game down here until 15 past the hour. That's another shot by Tom Emma. 30 seconds. Jeff Mullins has gone down to courtside, so we'll try to get a word or two from the winning Tar Heels. And close out another spectacular year under Dean Smith. There's Brownlee charging in, drawing a foul from Anderson. And Brownlee will try to become the 11th player to score. Nope, they're going to call a foul on Brownlee for charging. Excuse me. 24-2. That'll be the roll and record that North Carolina will take to the ACC tournament. They'll play either first game Friday afternoon or first game Friday night, depending on the coin toss tomorrow night. 9 seconds to go. The amen being sung here by the North Carolina fans. A foul call with 4 seconds to go. Now, you know what they think about Duke University. Well, that's the song they're singing right now. Been a fun day, but Mike Krzyzewski already has solidified an outstanding recruiting class for next year. Commitments from 3 outstanding players at least. So Duke returns a scrappy band of young players in Wint, Mahar, Anderson, McNeely, Bryan. And they'll have the guards back, England and Emma. So Duke promises to be much stronger next year. North Carolina won't get any weaker, that's for sure, with a great team they have coming back. Exum with 5 points. Sophomore from Dudley, North Carolina. Now here's Vince Taylor, collision and a blocking foul on Exum. So Taylor will have another chance at the line where he's had a nightmarish afternoon. He's hit 4 and missed 7. 2 seconds to go. Man you're looking at has won 20 games in 12 consecutive seasons. And that's more than any active coach going, or maybe all the inactive coaches too. Vince Taylor with 21 points. Well, in the last 2 games, he scored 56, and he's still going. He had 35 against Clemson, his career high. 21 today, going for 22. So Taylor looks like he's going to, with any kind of tournament at all, will clinch a scoring championship. That's the end of the ball game. Dean Smith goes down, congratulated by Mike Krzyzewski. A solid performance by North Carolina, a powerful win, as it were. They got the electrifying news that delighted them just a few moments before they took the court that Maryland had upset Virginia. That opened the way to tie for first place in the regular season. And, of course, the fans, who began immediately with that "we're #1" chant, they're wanting to go #1.